Hello all, good evening. Am I audible and visible? Please confirm me. Yes, I think Ram Narayana is live. Amit. Yes. So, again I am repeating everyone, I am audible and visible, right? Shall I start the session? Yes, thank you Abhishek, Vedapranit, Vasudev, Ram Narayana. So, everyone, happy Pongal yesterday, but the mains goers who were been writing the mains, for them no festival. Yesterday they were been busy writing Telugu, a regional paper, English paper yesterday, and today optional paper, paper 1 and paper 2. आपको अभी मुक्ति मिला है. आज से from today you are going to get some holidays, take holiday for 1 week. Now for you the Pongal begins. So in this context I am telling you, the anthropology paper was not easy, not tough, but the student who prepared very well, the students who got proper mentorship or who got proper guidance and who themselves prepared well, they are rocking in the examination. After 5 o'clock, nearly 10 to 12 calls I got, I received, I spoke with them, everyone are happy, the question paper went well. And I will be discussing the total question paper right now. From 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I made total PPT of all the answers for paper 1, but paper 2, no time, but as much as I will be giving you the content of the question paper, the complete discussion we will be doing with respect to paper 1 and paper 2. Yes, everyone happy Makara Sankranti, Pongal, Lohri, etc., etc., the beautiful diversity of the country. So anthropology paper also was been diverse. Anthropology question paper was also diverse from various fields, from various units, but the students who properly prepared, who properly strategized their preparation, who did proper answer writing practice, they rocked the examination. Yes. So now I am going to discuss the question paper, and according to my opinion, my rating, the question paper is not easy, not tough. If it is easy, it is 1. If it is very tough, it is 10. I am rating it in between. 6.5 is my rating. My rating is 6.5. It is somewhere between average and tough, in between it is. Average and tough, but who prepared well, they are performing very well. So it is somewhere around 6.5. How evaluation might be, don't worry about the evaluation, you return the examination, just forget about it at least for another 20 days. Anyhow, there will be scaling will be there. If you write properly, you will be getting the better marks and very good marks. Only few questions were been unpredictable, like evolutionary theories of aging, but how we have to do all this discussion I will be discussing in this particular session. But finally compared to 2020 mains question paper, 2021 mains question paper is easy. There is no googly type of questions like Natufian culture, KSing, nothing like that. Compared to 2020, the question paper is damn easy. Compared to 2020, comparatively. But anthropology as a subject, if I take, I will be giving the rating. 1 is easy and 10 is tough or hard, and 6.5 I am giving the rating, but compared to 2020, it is the easiest question paper. Compared with the 2020 question paper. So the people who wrote mains this time are very lucky. I hope 2022 also should repeat in the same format, but however, we have to have ups and downs. It should be a roller coaster, 1 year tough, 1 year easy, 1 year tough, but we have to prepare the best. On this note, I am going to start the session. The first question, the compulsory question was been animism and deep ecology. Animism and deep ecology, most of them believed that they are now, the students who are going to write 2022, it's somewhat tough, it is not tough. Animism and deep ecology. Animism is worship of soul, and slowly the soul took the shape of nature, nature worship. In this way the tribal people will be worshipping the soul worship and nature worship. In this way the soul worship and nature worship both are going hand in hand, hence this nature worship is called as deep ecology. Animism is also part of deep ecology, which we covered in our test series. This is the test series, our answers which we provided. This is in our daily answer writing practice also. Naturism you have to mention about, animism, and animatism is now the soul is entering into some forms. The soul is entering into some forms, it is called as animatism, and the soul is which is entering into the natural objects, it is called as naturism. Both combination you have to write your answer. What is animism? Deep ecology and its effect in dependence on the impact on animism means mainly naturism. Write about the new dimensions of animism in recent debates. What is happening? The worship of souls is reducing and everyone is going towards monotheism and polytheism. The simple society religion is changing towards mainstream complex society religion. That point also you have to mention, and you have to give information that the animism and the naturism both are the religions of simple society. And this is our test series question number 2, marriage regulations and alliance theory. Marriage regulations and alliance theory. This marriage regulations and alliance theory, you have to mention about the marriage regulations, which is covered in our test series. If you see, you can also notice our watermark also. This is one evidence: proscriptive rules, prescriptive rules, preferential rules. This was directly present. And what is sororate type of marriage, levirate type of marriage, which are part of this preferential types of marriage, prescriptive type of marriages. Third question, write about the principles of structuralism and explain the contribution of Levi-Strauss and Edmund Leach. Yes, structuralism. Structuralism, I made a very good video on this structuralism, it is present in the YouTube also. Direct question, structuralism. Write about the structuralism and explains contributions and Edmund Leach. Historical particularism and Franz Boas. Everyone, Franz Boas is a person who gave the concept called as historical particularism, who is an American anthropologist, American diffusionist, who told that every culture is because of 3 aspects. One is historical aspects, environmental aspects, and culture, and its psychological aspects. These 3 together is responsible for the formation of culture, which he also gave another another concept which is called as culture relativism by the Franz Boas. Every culture is because of its history. That you will be mentioning in this particular topic. Historical particularism and Franz Boas. In detail you will be mentioning about it. Main contribution about historical particularism by Franz Boas. All the features of historical particularism in detail. First of all, Franz Boas, you will tell that a geographer turned anthropologist. Lot of time in my classroom also I used this as a fun. A geography student has been changed as optional to anthropology. Very frequently I will be telling, so that the students will remember. Franz Boas is a geographer turned an anthropologist. He is the person who gave the concept called as historical particularism, and from the historical particularism he gave another which is called as culture relativism. That you will be explaining here. See, Franz Boas, the father of American anthropology. It is there in our test series as well, in our classroom also. Yes, see, critically examine test 13. If you notice here, it is test 13 question. Critically examine the historical particularism approach of Franz Boas. Direct question, Franz Boas. If you see, this is a screenshot, test series 13. You can see here, it is done, it is a PDF. The biocultural approach is a hallmark of biological anthropology. Explain biocultural, mainly you have to talk about biocultural approach. Adaptation you have to mention about. What is adaptation, what is biological adaptation, what is genetical adaptation, what is cultural adaptation. Biocultural approach is a hallmark of biological anthropology. Unit number 9.7, which is called as Ecological Anthropology. In Ecological Anthropology, you will talking about biological adaptations and cultural adaptations. Biocultural adaptation. In detail, you have to mention about it. Remember, this is only for 10 markers, so don't go in detail. What is biocultural approach? What is biological adaptations? What are cultural adaptations? In biological anthropology, means how? For the biological changes, for various places, how we are going to adapt biologically. How we are going to adapt biologically, how we are going to adapt culturally, hot climate, cold climate, high altitude. So, biological adaptations and cultural adaptations you have to mention within 2 pages, not complete answer, 10 marker. Adaptation, this table you draw first. Thermoluminescence dating method, direct question. Thermoluminescence dating method, a direct question which we expect, but most of them will be reading radiocarbon dating method, but we provided thermoluminescence also. If you see absolute dating method, carbon dating method is there, potassium argon dating method is, luminescence method is there, thermoluminescence method. See, anthropology test series, if you see here thermoluminescence is there, we gave. What are the physical and cultural characteristics of Homo erectus? Every time I will tell you. You have to remember about the Homo erectus. Homo erectus are Homo heidelbergensis in Europe. Asia it is Homo pekinensis, Homo javanicus. In Africa it is called as Homo ergaster. So, these 4 species are part of Homo erectus. You have to mention about their physical features. If you forget about cultural features, I told that just remember lower Paleolithic also. Whatever the culture features of lower Paleolithic, you have to mention here. Draw the diagram. 2A, 20 marker question it is, 20 marker. See, anthropology test series, describe the salient features and geographical distribution of Homo erectus. Draw the diagram which is there in the notes. So, explain Homo erectus phylogenetic status, from where to where, Skupin phylogenetic status you have to draw here, then physical characteristics, then cultural characteristics, and how it is evolved into Neanderthal, that you will be establishing in your answer. Yes, another video I am going to make, how should be the strategy for 2022, it is asked by Prakash Prajapati. Yes, Prakash, today, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will be coming up with a proper strategy how to prepare for 2022, analyzing 2020 mains question paper and this also, both tough question paper of 2020 and easy, little bit easy question paper of 2021, both we will be coming together with a strategy for 2022. Be ready. Elucidate the concept of thick description in the context of Clifford Geertz. Most of them got shocked. It is not a shock. Thick description, Clifford Geertz. I am showing you the answer. See here. This is my notes. If you see here, interpretative theory, which is given by Clifford Geertz. The PDF will be provided in the respective Telegram channels where the link is there in the description. Given by Clifford Geertz. In his essay, The Interpretation of Culture, according to Clifford Geertz, symbols have inherent meaning in it. Interpretation means inherent meaning, no? Everything will be having inherent meaning. Is having inherent meaning, every symbol. For example, food is one symbol, dress is one symbol, or some diagram is one symbol, art is one symbol. These all are symbols which are having inherent meaning in it. The interpretations of culture, according to him, symbols have inherent meaning in it. These meanings are in the minds of the people, yes. For example, I told you in the classroom also, if this is what, or this is what, or this is what. For every symbol, we will have our own meaning which is present in our minds. It might be not only this symbol, not only religious symbols, it might be anything, art form. If I see snake also, if I am from Hindu, if I see a snake, it will have my own interpretation. It will be present in my mind, that is discussed by Clifford Geertz. So, what is this thick description, sir? Yes. Which are the ways in which symbols operate within the culture, like how individuals see, feel and think. Culture like how individuals see, feel and think. The symbols enter the minds of the people through historical connection. What happened in my history? What happened in my history, according to which I will be having some interpretations, I will be having some meanings. So, mainly what is present in the history is responsible for what is fixed in my mind. That is what which is told by this particular person called as Clifford Geertz. Minds, which are the ways in which symbols operate within culture, like how individuals feel, think. Here all symbols are actions of the people, yes. All symbols, my action will be according to my symbol. My actions will be according to my symbols. What is present in my mind, accordingly my action will be there. Oh, this is snake, I will be worshipping it. Why? Because it is present in my mind, I feel it, I perceive it. Accordingly my action will be there. Clifford Geertz told, these all points you have to mention, man. Here all symbols are actions of the people. People convey the meanings through their actions. Culture is like a text. Culture is like a book, like a text. Its members constantly read the text as a form. The ideal, the real, the ethnographer's view, people's view actually should be taken into consideration. According to him, culture is the textual path and the symbol is their description. For Geertz, symbols are vehicles of culture. Thick description. So, that meaning you have to write. That meaning you have to write. Clifford Geertz, Interpretative Theories. Very properly we discussed in our classroom. So, according to Geertz, anthropology should interpret the entire culture at once but not piecemeal. This is all thick description. The text is culture. Describe the features of early farming cultures, Neolithic of the Near East, mainly Neolithic cultures. Gordon Child discussed about the Neolithic, everything you will be mentioning about the Neolithic. Text, see, what stage is known as incipient stage of food production? Point out major features of this cultural stage, mainly Neolithic. We asked it in test 2 model answers. Test 2 model answers. How do political organizations of simple societies establish power, authority and legitimacy? If you remember, in my class, whenever I teach, whenever I explain about the power, authority, legitimacy, when I will be explaining the different varieties of power, different like charismatic power, different varieties of authority, different varieties of legitimacy, then I told we want the examples from simple society. So, in simple society, what is power? In Ashanti tribal community, it's a matrilineal society, but the mother's son will be exercising the power, but when he loses, the power will be given to sister's son. In that way, the authority will be flowing in simple society. In the same way, the power will be moving on. What is authority? Sometimes the priest, go into tribal population, the priest will be having the authority. Legitimacy, the people will accept the traditional inheritance of power, which is called as legitimate power. Power, authority, legitimacy. Expected question of unit number 4. Genetic mechanisms of micro and macro evolution, which is there in the textbook. The textbook which I provided you, in the textbook it is there. If you want, I can show it also. It is there in the textbook. Microevolution is nothing but because of genetic drift, because of mutation, because of inbreeding. So, what are all the transformation which is happening is called as microevolution. Macroevolution, where there is a big transformation. The big transformation is like change from Australopithecines to Homo erectus to Neanderthal to Homo sapiens. That particular major transformation which is occurring is called as macroevolution. Discuss the different traditions of European Mesolithic. In my discussion class of test series as well as in the classroom also, when I discussed about European Upper Paleolithic, we also discussed about European Mesolithic. Mainly with test series students, I forwarded this content. I will show you. See, test series, discuss briefly the major traditions in Upper Paleolithic culture of Europe. When in the classroom, when I am discussing this question paper, when I am explaining about the Upper Paleolithic cultures of Europe, why? Because you know Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, Upper Paleolithic, next is Mesolithic. So, how this Upper Paleolithic culture of Europe has converted or transformed into Mesolithic cultures of Europe. Microliths, some site names like Catalopenonin, Aurignacian, Gravatian, Saltrian, Magdalenian. Elaborate the scope of anthropology and elucidate its uniqueness in the field of other social sciences, relationship with other disciplines. 1.3, with social sciences, with behavioral sciences, with life sciences, with medical sciences, with earth sciences, with the field of other social sciences, humanities. Explain the major branches of linguistic anthropology, unit number 7 and major branches, 1.3D linguistic anthropology. 1C, direct question, linguistic anthropology. Critically examine the structure and content of language are influenced by the culture. Explain the major branches of linguistic anthropology. Discuss language use in social and cultural setting. This is the answer. Yes. Define anthropology. Describe the major branches of anthropology. Elaborating on one branch, elaborated on linguistic anthropology. Chromosomal aberrations can play havoc with the human body and mind. Explain with suitable examples. Chromosomal aberrations, you will be writing about structural aberrations as well as numerical aberrations. The question is about chromosomal aberration. So you will draw the diagram. Structural aberrations क्या है, numerical aberrations क्या है, उसमें autosomal aberrations क्या है, उसमें sexual chromosomal aberrations क्या है. Why? Because the question is for 15 mark. You will draw the diagram first, then individual diseases you will be mentioning, and what are the factors which are responsible for the occurrence of diseases: mutation, genetic drift, inbreeding, migration, selection. This all you will be mentioning. Human adolescent growth spur, 5A. Human adolescent growth spur. So this is human adolescent growth spur, growth. There is one diagram is there in 10th unit. It is from my classroom. Yes. The losses and gains of erect posture. The losses and gains of erect posture means what happened to the human being and whatever biologically where and all he lost it. Means the occipital torus reduced, the supraorbital got reduced, the mandible got reduced, means the mandible got lost, the supraorbital ridges got lost, the cranial capacity got increased, and the foramen magnum got centrally located. The lumbar curve is been in cusp curve shape, and the pelvis was been broad base, so that the upper part of the body is been equally distributed on the pelvis, widening of the hip region, and the lower limbs became straight. Erect posture. Compulsory, it's expected question, 1.5. Is race a valid and a biologically meaningful concept? If you remember, when I am teaching 9.5, race and racism, after the end of the syllabus, I gave one question, it is there in your PDF also. Is race a biological concept or a sociological concept? If biological concept, how it is helpful? Is race a valid and a biologically meaningful concept? Yes, biologically meaningful concept. Biologically meaningful concept, but sociologically not meaningful concept. First, how to write D. N. Majumdar definition of race or Hutton definition of race. How the race is classified? The race is classified based upon the physical features. So race is a biological concept, it is valid because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 you will be mentioning. So if any physical features are present, for example, African population is having recessive sickle cell trait. If in recessive sickle cell trait there is a balanced polymorphism, but it is benefit. Why? Because it is not occurring the disease. However, it is helpful in malaria resistant. Like that, biologically good things you will be mentioning it. Bhutia tribal community is having resistance towards the COVID. So same biological gene if we find and if we put into all the populations, that resistance will be increasing among the population. Race is a biological concept, is 100% valid, but race as a sociological concept is not valid. Why? Because it is leading to racism. वो आपको बताना चाहिए. Yes, correct. Yes, I recommend you everyone, come first you do all the previous year's questions. Yes, first preparation should be with previous year's questions. Do previous year's questions as well, 100%. Those who did previous year's questions of last 5 years, from 2015 it is enough. If you do all the previous year's questions also, you can do, you can perform very well. So mera andada hai ki what I want to tell you finally is, means the question paper is not that much easy or not tough. But this optional, this paper who did writing practice, this who did writing practice on daily basis, for them it is very much doable. For them it is very much confident building, confidence building measure it is. It is a confidence building measure, 100%. So I recommend you everyone, optional के लिए, कौन सी भी optional हो, for your optional do daily answer writing practice. Anyhow, you know daily answer writing practice, I will be evaluating on daily basis, you can send me the answers. But whoever are not my students also try to write daily answers. That is a very good practice. And one more thing, I recommend some students are making notes in some soft copies, some different soft, they are keeping in some pen drives. No, you have to write, you have to make your own notes. Your pen, your writing answer is very, very important. The hardship is very, very important. I recommend you, at least for your optional, make your own notes by writing. By writing. Yes, sufficient Yogesh, 100% sufficient. And I recommend you don't go for 20 years papers also, 10 years is enough. 7 years is enough. Why? Because the transformation happened from 2014, before that 300 marks was been there. From 2014 it is only 250 marks. So when it changed to 250 marks, 20, 15, 10 questions came into picture. 10 marks question came into picture. So from that time onwards, if you do, it is enough. No need for 10 years, 20 years also. From 2014 it is enough and more. But do properly, write all the previous year's questions. ठीक है भाई योगेश? Yes. Dissent groups, please turn over. Dissent groups. In my October batch we completed last Thursday, I think so. Friday, Saturday we gave holidays. Unilineal descent, double descent, ambilineal descent, bilineal descent or bilateral descent. This is what descent groups. First you have to explain, first definition should be what is descent, what are descent group, how it is helping. It is helping mainly with respect to establishment of residence after the marriage, from whom we will be taking the property, who are our social group, whom we are going to contact after the any emergency situation. That we will be explaining in this particular descent groups. Modes of subsistence, yes, modes of subsistence. I gave exam also. See, write the characteristics of hunting and gathering economy in simple society, model answer of test 11. But while I am discussing this test 11, I told particularly that not only hunting gathering, do pastoralism, do horticulture. Why? Because horticulture is a previous question of 2013. Pastoralism is also previous question. So that is the reason he asked directly, write about the modes of subsistence, economic subsistences, hunting, gathering, pastoralism, horticulture, fishing, modern jobs, into white collar jobs, artisans. Yes. PSC 1 page enough for 10 marker? No. 1.5, 2 pages is compulsory. 1.5 page is compulsory. 1.5 page, so compulsory you have to write. 2 pages is good, but compulsory 1.5 page. My screen is that side, so I am looking at that side. Yes. So hunting gathering question it came. What is acclimatization? Discuss adaptive responses to cold climate and high altitude. The question is repeated. It came earlier, it came again. Ecological Anthropology 9.7 about acclimatization, adaptation, physiological, acclimatization, non-heritable, biologically heritable, socially heritable, which is cultural, which is genetical, biologically heritable. So, in cold climate, what are the biological adaptations? What are the cultural adaptations? In high altitude, what are the biological adaptations? What are the cultural adaptations? You have to mention about that. How are the disputes related to paternity resolved? Discuss the recent techniques. Paternity diagnosis, N.D. Tiwari, classic example, direct question. Test series 10, examine how paternity diagnosis help in solving medico-legal cases of blood relations, illustrate. Previous year question this is. Previous year question repeated. Paternity diagnosis, medico-legal cases. Again, discuss the role of applied human genetics in paternity, test number 11. This is test series 10. I believe 2 times, so 2 times I asked it. Why? Because test 10 is only applications of anthropology, test 10. Test 11 is complete paper 1, comprehensive test. There also I asked the same. Lewis Morgan, Levi-Strauss, American classical anthropologist, in his book Ancient Society, he explained about the societal change. He is the person, Henry Morgan. First give introduction about him. Why? Because it is 15 marker, little bit, one paragraph explanation about this gentleman, Henry Morgan. Then in the theory of social evolution, he mentioned about this famous theory of social evolution, in which he explained about the family system. Yes, the question is about classification of family. So draw this diagram, and in this diagram, family, no family system, community or group living, polygynandrous family system, joint family system, nuclear family system. This, draw this, but you emphasize on this family system. I asked, how did Morgan explain the evolution of marriage, evolution of family, and socio-political organization? Test number 11 in comprehensive question paper, I asked it. Not only that, how did other evolutionists disagreed with this evolution? How did other evolutionists, like how the new evolutionists disagreed with this? Critically evaluate different types of social stratification. You know, social stratification was a universal question. Social stratification was a most expected question, social stratification. Expected question. Asking this question is not a wonder. It's an expected question. So, three types: egalitarian, rank based, class society. Expected question it is. Understanding the approaches of social stratification, various reasons. Biocultural determinants of fertility and fecundity, directly from my class notes. Define fecundity and explain the major factors affecting fecundity. These are all differential, biological, proportionate marriage, use of contraception, induced abortions, sterility, socio-ecological, also women participating in workforce. These all you have to mention. How the biological and social conditions are responsible for fertility and fecundity. What is anthropometry? I will explain you. Listen to my explanation. Anthropometry is nothing but measurements like nasal index, cranial index, stature. These are called as anthropometry, measurements of biology, measurements of human organs, human biological conditions is called as anthropometry. Discuss the role in assessing the nutritional status and sports capability of a person with respect to my anthropometry. Cananthropometry, the question is, see the question linked with, first you have to mention about anthropometry. I told you once, first you have to start with Franz Boas is the first anthropologist who studied about anthropometry. Anthropometric studies, anthropometric techniques in the discipline of anthropology. You have to start with it and you have to give the definition of anthropometry. What are anthropometry you have to mention. Then how it is useful in nutrition, yes. Weight per age, height per age, weight per height, body mass index. Sports capability, cananthropometry, what type of sports is useful? For my height, for my weight, what type of sports is useful? Cananthropometry. The girl can campaign, Saurya Paharyas, case study of Saurya Paharyas, this all you will be writing. Describe various tools of data collection. Various tools, this all. What are the tools of data collection? Discuss the advantages and limitations of participant observance as a technique of data collection. All the data tools, this all. Observation, interview, questionnaire, schedule, case study, genealogical methods, life history, oral history, participatory appraisal, secondary sources. These all are tools of data collection. Expected question. Yes, expected questions. Tools of data collection. Compare and contrast between questionnaire and schedule as tools of data collection. Test 11, Test 13. Describe the physiological and evolutionary theories of aging. For this, for who don't know, I will be telling you. Physiological theories of aging is nothing but cellular theories of aging. Intracellular theories of aging, extracellular theories of aging, and modern programmed theories. These three are physiological theories of aging or cellular theories of aging, which I explained. Write about aging and senescence, explain various theories of aging. So, mainly aging is of two kinds. One is physiological aging and evolutionary aging. The question is about physiological and evolutionary theories. First, coming to physiological theories or cellular theories. One is intracellular theories of aging, extracellular theories of aging, modern theories. Theory of genetic blueprint by Thomas Haycliffe, theory of free radical reaction by Lester Packer, the error theories, the error in the genes, collagen theory which is present between the cells, collagen, a proteinous element, immunological theory, our own antibodies will be destroying our own antigens, programmed age theory, chromosome number 21 is responsible for aging factor, wear and tear, because of overuse of organs it is becoming old. These are physiological aging. But evolutionary theories of aging, this is something some students could not answer it. Evolutionary theories of aging, three theories are there. Number one is the theory of programmed death suggested by August Weismann, programmed death. The mutation accumulation theory of aging by Peter Medaver, the antagonist physiotrophy theory of aging by George Williams. Number one is the theory of programmed death suggested by August Weismann. What is this? You know that every gene will be having expression. Every gene will be having the expression, that expression is called as allele. So, when one expression is leading to a benefit, then there is a chance that another form of gene will be responsible for disadvantage. For example, I will tell you testosterone, if more testosterone is released, it will help in fertility. But if more testosterone is released, it leads to prostate cancer. So, it is having positive, it is having negative. So, because of the negative impact of the gene, because of the negative impact, what is happening is, that is pleiotrophy, that is pleiotrophy. Antagonist, one is positive, another is negative. First one is programmed theory, I will tell you. Aging occurred to prevent the older generation from competing with younger generations. Means this person wanted, August Weismann want to tell that it is a natural selection. It is a natural phenomenon that if old man becomes weak with his age, if a person become old, then he will not compete with the young people. So, young people will be surviving, and these young people again they will become old and the new generation will be coming up. This is the process of natural selection for the sake of evolution, for the sake of survival, August Weismann. So, man will be becoming old, then death, man will be becoming old, then death, that is what. Number two, accumulation hypothesis explains aging by the declining force of natural selection with age. Slightly deleterious germline mutations expressed in the old age can drift to fixation, and means there will be, with respect to age, aging happens. So, the mutation starts occurring. Because of the mutations, the gene started working abnormally, hence the response will be abnormal, then the individual will become old, aged, second theory. Third, production by single gene of two or more apparently unrelated effects. As I told you, testosterone, a positive thing which is happening, apparently a negative thing also will happen. This negative effect which is happening will result in aging phenomenon. This is in the evolutionary process. In this way the evolution happens, and the man takes births, becomes young, then he becomes old, then he dies, then again. So, in the process of evolution this happens. This is called as evolutionary theories of aging. Yes. Yes, evolutionary theories were in our, yes, it was there. Explain the structural analysis of kinship as proposed by Levi-Strauss. Levi-Strauss' view on affinal relation, affinal means marriage relations. Affinal, he believes that first male and female came together, married, and the children born. So, first is affinal, second is consanguineous according to Levi-Strauss. And the major form of marriage system is exchange. Marriage exchange is happening. So, there is a restricted form of woman exchange, there is a generalized form of woman exchange. So, the people when they are exchanging, with whom they are exchanging, there is a very good relationship. But within the kinship, there is no good relationship, like Yanamamu case study you have to mention. This case study you have to mention, Yanamamu's very, very famous case study with respect to Levi-Strauss. He didn't study it, but it is an apt case study for this understanding the Levi-Strauss affinal relationship. This is paper 1, morning question paper. Up to now, any doubts, anyone? So from this analysis, it's a doable, easy, not so tough. So first focus on clearing prelims. If you clear prelims, then the mains is going to become easy. But you have to be consistent. Compulsory आपको consistent रहना पड़ेगा. You have to be consistent. Work hard, do daily answer writing practice. Daily answer writing practice, not at all tough. Paper 1 तो easy था. Paper 1 was been easy. Then what about paper 2? Paper 2 was also on the same lines of paper 1. And moreover, paper 2 is, I will give 6 only. The rating for 6.1, for first paper I gave 6.5. I mean more 10 means tough paper, 1 means easy paper, I gave 6.5 rating, but I will give rating only 6 for paper 2. So, paper 2 was damn easy paper. Paper 2 we will be discussing. Direct question paper I will put so that you will understand easily. Purushartha rituals living today. Contemporary relevance of Purusharthas. For each and every aspect of 3.1 of Hindu social system, you have to understand about the contemporary relevance. You have to mention about Purusharthas, Dharmartha, Kama, Moksha and their rituals living today. Means how much it is practical today. Relevance of tribe caste continuum. Tribe caste continuum, Robert Redfield, Bailey, Surjit Sinha, these all anthropologist names you have to use, and relevance of tribe caste. Yes, it is relevant. Both are at the polar ends, now both moving together towards each other. Mainly the caste is, mainly the tribe is moving towards caste. Harappan seals. Harappan seals. What is the seals? Draw the diagram and give the expression what meaning this Harappan seals is giving. Caste and social capital, yes. With higher caste, higher social capital. Lower caste, lower social capital. Directly proportional. Caste is directly proportional to social capital. The Brahmins are having good education and good health. The Shudras are having negative education and negative health. In that way he asked. So, caste is directly proportional to social capital. Because to come out of this trend, government affirmative actions are there. Reservations are there. Caste and social capital. Here you can write about the case study which we discussed, Ranavir Sena case study also you can discuss here. Winner, I told you the source, no? Thick description. In my textbook it is there. Our textbook is very good, valid, you can go through it. Factionalism and politics in rural India. Factionalism, see, you should not write like in a general studies. Factionalism means S.C. Dubey is the anthropologist. When he is studying about Shamirpet, he not only studied about dominant caste, he also studied about factionalism. Politics in rural India was being discussed by S.C. Dubey. Factionalism and rural politics. Critically discuss the origin of Indus Valley civilization, mention the evidences of its endogenous origin from pre-Harappan site. I told you, don't focus only on Indus Valley civilization, Harappan sites, go with pre-Harappan, go with post-Harappan also I told. We covered it, pre-Harappan and post-Harappan. Give the distribution and characteristic features of upper Paleolithic cultures in India. Bhimbedka, Langnach, Adamgar. Ramapithecus discuss the morphological features and phylogenetic position of Ramapithecus. There is a debate between Ramapithecus and Shivapithecus. Damn sure question. Ramapithecus or Shivapithecus or Narmada man? Ramapithecus they asked. Explain the impact of concept of nature-man spirit complex on sustainable use of natural resources with suitable example. Nature-man spirit complex. Nature, man, spirit complex. Nature, man, spirit complex. Everything you will be explaining with example. Dongri account example you will write. Mahler example you will be writing. Examine the contribution of S.C. Roy in highlighting the role of customary laws in tribal life. Why? Because he is the person, he is the first Indian ethnographer, he is the father of Indian ethnography, he is the first Indian anthropologist who studied Munda tribal community, he is the person who studied youth dormitories. What is customary law you will mention? Expected question customary law. He is a person who told Santal tribal population, they will be keeping their hands in the boiling oil. They believe that if he does mistake, then his hands will burn. If he don't do the mistake, then the hands will not burn. Smaller examples. So, customary law, studied by S.C. Roy. Impact of Christianity on tribal culture and identity, mainly Northeast India, got heavily impacted because of the Christian missionary. How I can tell means by reduction in infant mortality, reduction in maternal mortality, increase in literacy rate. A positive impact was been there because of Christianity on Northeast Indian tribes. But however, there is conflict also there in Santals who converted to, Santals and Orans who converted to, Santals, Orans, Mundas who converted to Christianities and who are following the animistic form of religion. There is conflict between both of them because of the people who converted to Christianity, the tribes who converted to Christianity. Nirmal Kumar Bose in understanding tribal communities and their place in Indian civilization. Actually, he is an archaeologist, but he also studied tribal communities. This little bit tough, so don't write this. Discuss the role of Panchayat Raj institutions in transforming traditional power hierarchy. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, how it is impacting, we have a lot of case studies. Poppatrao you can write, Hiveri Bazaar you can write. One female Sarpanch also we discussed. She is stayed in the Forbes 100 list of more influential person in India, woman. Can anyone tell that name of that woman? Yes, one case study we discussed about it. Elucidate the problems and challenges in educational attainment of scheduled tribes. What are their problems? For example, Gonda people believe that if they get higher education, their children will be losing them and will not stay with them. They will be leaving their tribal community. For Kutiakon tribal population, their souls, their gods will get angry. Another tribal population, it's a luxury for them. If the child, if he is working, there will be a working hand. If you go to the school, it is waste of the human capital. In that way, it is stopping them for getting education with lot of examples you have to write. Urbanization and tribal institutions. How tribal institution, youth dormitory is one tribal institution. Religion is one tribal institution. These tribal institutions means religion, youth dormitories, their culture, how they are getting impacted because of urbanization. Ethnic media, I will tell you what is ethnic media means. Media which is working exclusively for one tribal community. Media which is exclusively working for one tribal community, for one ethnic identity. What are all their social setup, their characteristics, their economical characteristics are explained. What are their disadvantages, how they are getting disadvantaged, if it is explained, that particular media is called as ethnic media. You can explain in India, one case study we discussed, Chala Ho Gaon Mein is one of the radio community for the tribal population who are living in the Palaamo district of Jharkhand, which is explaining about the tribal people and who is working for their development. That particular media house is called as community radio. If it is for tribes, it is called as ethnic media. Such a sort of ethnic medias are very famous in United States of America. That you will be writing. And social awareness, it creates social awareness. Cultural diversity and multiculturalism, cultural diversity and India. What is cultural diversity? It's our cultural heritage, how it is getting deteriorated. It is getting deteriorated because of parochial tendencies, politics, factions, we feeling, ethnocentrism feeling. So we have to safeguard the constitutional safeguards. There are constitutional safeguards to protect this multiculturalism, pluralism. Concept of tribe and Indian census. Some of the tribal population are not present in the Indian census. They are not part of the Indian census. Some of the tribal populations like denotified tribal population, nomadic, semi-nomadic and denotified tribal population who are not present in the census. They don't have identity only. Yes, Bhakti Sharma, yes. Yes. Bhakti Sharma was the Sarpanch who left her USA job and became the Sarpanch, and she mainly worked for the girl literacy rate, girl education. Politics of recognition and deprivation, yes. You know the big thing which is also mentioned in the Beam movie of Surya, recently released movie. They are not recognized, they are not identified. Why? Because the politicians will think that it's an unnecessary burden for them. If we give them voter card, now we have to go and ask them voter also. So it's better we will not recognize them, it's better we will not identify it. That is the context in which the question was been asked. Politics of recognition and deprivation. When they are not recognized, when they are not identified, when they are deprived, obviously their social capital, their social status will be low only. With the tribal examples, some of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups who are not identified, either as ST, either as SC, either as BC, they are general categories. Bondo tribal population, that you have to mention. Discuss the impact of Forest Rights Act on the livelihood and culture of tribal people in India, 2006. I was very damn sure, because I was very sure about the PESA Act and Forest Rights Act. Why? Because PESA Act, PESA Act 25 years and Forest Rights Act 15 years completed. Everything you have to mention about it. Factors responsible for malnutrition in tribal India. One of the major reason is culture. Korwa tribal people will not consume salt, because of which there is iodine deficiency, hence they are suffering with goiter. So it is also part of malnutrition. Culture point of view you have to write it. And suggest interventions required to overcome the problem. Suggestions like iron rich tablets are provided by the Jharkhand government for the tribal populations. Delineate the factors influencing fertility in Indian population, biological factors as well as social factors. Explain the impact of successive land acquisition acts on tribal social organization. Land Acquisition Act 1894 wala and 2013 wala, both you have to mention. 1894 Land Acquisition Act, 2013 right to compensation, right to fair compensation, transparency in land acquisition, resettlement and rehabilitation act of 2013. Discuss the problems involved in rehabilitation and resettlement of tribals displaced due to development projects. What are the a lot of examples. Because of mining, because of urbanization, because of irrigation, because of power sector, because of railways, because of road, because of educational institutions, because of government establishments like ISRO, like Balasore missile testing center, the tribal people are getting impacted. Various reasons. These are all developmental reasons only. Discuss the interventions made by the NGOs for empowering tribal women. Yes. NGOs, who are the NGOs working for the tribal women? First, who are NGOs? What are the characteristics of NGOs? What are the positives and negatives of NGOs? And NGOs working in tribal women, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to name them and you have to explain about their significance. Examine how structural transformation in economy is affecting traditional social relations in agrarian society. Yes. Structural transformation in economy. Agriculture was never a tool for profit making. Agriculture was a means for livelihood. Agriculture was a part of family. Agriculture was their living. Agriculture is everything for them. Now, because of the structural transformation, it became commodity. Agriculture became commodity now. Like cooperative farming, like genetically modified organism, like business, doubling of the farmer's income. So that there is a structural transformation. Good only, but the traditional form of Indian society, the traditional form of agrarian structure is getting deteriorated. That we have to mention. Delineate the constitutional safeguards for religious minorities in India. Constitutional safeguards. Secularism 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Protection of their religious minorities and their culture. 30. Establishment of their religious education. These all things you will be mentioned. Identify the causes of tribal unrest with special reference to Northeast India. What are the factors which are responsible for unrest, riots among the tribals exclusively in Northeast India, like Greater Nagalam issue, Bodo issue, Aptanis issue, Bru issue, ethnic conflicts issues. These all things you have to mention. And overall, my dear students, what I believe is it's a doable. The question paper is not tough. Those who wrote mains, some of the students are there who wrote mains and he is here. So, for them, please enjoy this 10 days and come back again, start preparing for interview. We will be providing free interview guidance. We will be starting it from February 1st onwards. So, it will be free initiative, 100% free initiative for everyone, those who written mains and those who clear mains. And we will be also having a very good board for interview at Hyderabad offline center as well as online also we will be providing. So, now start preparing, take some days gap and start preparing for interview as well. And tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will be coming up with anthropology strategy video, how to prepare and how to strategize, what should be the goal, what should be the motto, mainly how we should be motivated, how we should be rigid. Be rigid, be strong, be consistent, you will write the mains 2022, that is it. For that, remember that you have to clear prelims 2022. On this note, I will take some doubts, you can ask me the doubts. Any doubts, please? I thought I will be taking the session for 30 minutes, but it went on up to 1 hour. So, thanks for your patience for listening. So, those who written this question paper, good luck. You will be in the mains cleared list, you will be in the interview list. I will pray for you people and God bless you all. So, any doubts, I will take some doubts. Sir, can I get your notes? Yes, in Amazon, my textbooks are available. You can buy from Amazon. You can just click Anthropology textbooks by Vishnu Vardhan or Vishnu IAS Academy, you will be getting it. Sir, can we go for weekly Anthro previous year's question test during these 4 months? Yes, 100% you can go. Ram Narayan, sir, question second about indigenous origin. You're talking about mention the evidences of its indigenous origin from the means see from pre-Harappa how it evolved into Harappa. Those sites you have to mention and what are similarities between the pre-Harappan sites and Harappan sites. Those similarities you have to match and you have to tell that yes, Harappa evolved from pre-Harappa. Yes, for everyone. 10 pages 10 marker 2 pages, 15 marker 3 pages, 20 marker 4 pages. राम नारायण हमने डिस्कस किया था, प्री हरप्पन प्रॉपरली वी डिस्कस्ड, पोस्ट हरप्पन वी प्रॉपरली डिस्कस्ड, एंड Harappa, I told you before reading Harappa, first you have to understand the pre-Harappa, after Harappa, you post-Harappa. We mainly focus on the sites also, if you remember, it is there in the notes. So I think this discussion class will make a sense, will be useful for you. So our hard work from after 12 o'clock when we got the question paper, I personally sat for 12 to 4 to make a proper answer and collecting our evidences, but 5 o'clock it came out, but we will be posting you the evidences of the paper 2 also. So all the best for 2022, and very soon we will be coming up with the strategy for anthropology preparation for 2022. ठीक है? Thank you.